All right, welcome to another edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. This is episode 23. Had a little hiatus last week because of Thanksgiving, but we're back, and I'm with the fellas, Zoo and Peebush. What's up, guys?
Doing well, man. Had a good Thanksgiving. Watched some football. Longest football week in NFL history.
It was a sad week, man.
Dude,
If I won my game, I would have made it to the playoffs. But then Eric Ebron has to go off on me and kick me out, and I lost. I almost made the playoffs with CMC on my bench pretty much the entire season. Number one pick. I almost made the playoffs. I almost pulled a miracle. But then Josh Jacobs scrubbing it up with 3 fantasy points. 3! That is
Josh Jacobs started Latavius.
When did Latavius get 25, man? I knew he was good, but what the heck? Alvin Kamara's playing. That guy gets 25. Should have started that guy over Josh Jacobs. What a joke. Against the Falcons, the ATL, no defense, 3 fantasy points, and a fumble.
Yeah. How about that Jarvis Landry game, though?
Oh, I played against Jarvis Landry with the best game of his career. 140 and a tutty. What was going on? I was just like, this is not going to go well, man. God, my team scrubbed it up in the game-sealing week. Lost the tiebreaker. My first year out of the playoffs in the home league, man. Out of 7 years, man. First year out. And it was because of points. So that was rough, but I'm over that now.
Yeah, I actually had Jarvis on my bench. He went off, but I mean, it didn't matter because I had Antonio Gibson. He
popped off.
Yeah, Antonio was a crazy, but I mean, it's Dallas.
Screw Antonio Gibson. Screw Tyreek Hill. Oh my God, they went off, man. I'm just like, dang, dude, you see, I haven't seen 80 points from 2 guys.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Tyreek Hill, man.
Yeah, killed me, man.
It's just the life of fantasy football, man. You just never know when someone's gonna. I mean, well, I guess you can know Tyreek's probably gonna go off, but
50 points.
Yeah.
200 yards in one quarter.
Yeah. Bucks defense, man. Their corners are so. I've been telling people their corners are god awful. They've been bad all year, but we're gonna stay on NBA and kind of not a blockbuster trade. It's more notoriety because of who got traded with Houston and Washington. Houston getting John Wall and the Wizards getting Westbrook. I'm going to ask the guys, I guess, who they think won the trade, who they think is going to make the biggest impact on the team. I'm not sure how to really phrase it, but P. Bush, I'm going to start with you.
Oof. This was kind of a desperation trade, I think, on both sides, if I had to really analyze it. The Wizards, they're giving up John Wall, who they thought was going to be the pivotal guy to their franchise, but it slowly started to become Bradley Beal over the past couple of years with Wall's injuries and contract. He's making almost $40 million, I think, now, and Westbrook is 32 years old, making over $35 million. I mean, this was just a trade that these two teams wanted to get these two respective guys off of their teams. Westbrook, we've talked about it in the past. Didn't get along with Harden. For a moment there, we thought they might get rid of both of them. But obviously they moved Westbrook first, which made sense. I do think the Wizards, they may have gotten the better deal just because of John Wall's health. I know that's always kind of an issue when it comes to him. So bringing Westbrook in, obviously he may have a little bit more of an ego attitude issue. You want to call it that. So Bradley Beal's a pretty laid back guy though, Zoo. I don't know what you have to say about that, but he seems more willing to be the number 2 guy, but can give you number 1 guy points. But I'd have to say the Wizards probably won this trade, but we'll see how Wall plays with Harden because that'll be interesting.
Oh, it's a beautiful trade. As a Chicago Bulls fan, do you know why? Because Russell Westbrook is going to drive Bradley Beal crazy, man. Are you kidding me? Bradley Beal put up 30 points a game. His best season ever, right? And now you got Russell Westbrook coming in town, going to the nation's capital, wanting to put up a show, getting his triple doubles, jacking up stupid shots. Like I said, he's a dodo bird. This dude's stupid, man. I saw this coming, man. Him and James wouldn't get along, man. High basketball IQ guy with a low IQ guy, not going to work. Not going to work. And then you see what the Wizards gave up? They gave up John Wall, a man who tore his Achilles,
Yeah.
Towards Achilles. He's got gang connections. I don't want that on my team. I don't want that on my team, man. I don't want that on my roster. Send that trouble to Houston. Yeah. You got Russell Westbrook. He's still an former MVP. You got 2 All-Stars in the East. They're going to make playoffs now.
Yep.
They're allowed to make playoffs. He's healthy. John Wall is coming off an Achilles injury. I think for a move to get into the playoffs, they're getting the playoffs. They're going to lose in the first round, though. They're going to lose the first round against one of those top 3 elite teams, that depending on what their seeding are. But, man, they gave up nothing, man. They gave a guy that tore his Achilles and a pick that's, like, protected. So
it's heavily protected.
It's heavily protected. And if it keeps its protection, it turns into 2 second-round picks. And I don't give a damn about second-round picks. So this is a great trade. I don't know. The Rockets gave up, man. They gave up so much for Westbrook. They gave us CP3 multiple first-round picks, and now they get Westbrook for a broken John Wall. So I don't know what the Rockets are doing. It looks like they might go full rebuild, but this is bad, man. This is bad.
Well, the only thing, Zoo, to your point, I think that obviously Westbrook coming to the East could end up helping his career in the long run. I mean, who knows if the Wizards, if egos are set aside, if they can continue to build that team. But look, they have literally nobody else on that team besides Westbrook and Beal. I mean, I think their 4th highest paid player is Thomas Bryant, and he's making about 10 to 12 million a year, maybe down around the 9 range. But look, they have no supporting cast. Granted, that's kind of what Westbrook likes to play with. I think he likes to have some guys to be able to pass the ball to, but he also likes, hey, if me and Bradley Beal are the only 2 guys that can carry this team, I'm totally fine with dropping 35, 10, and 10 a game and giving Beal 25 a game, right? But I don't know how that's, like you said, Zoo, I don't know how late they will make it into the playoffs even in the East. There's the Nets in there, obviously the Heat. We talked about all the teams, but I don't see the Rockets getting any better from this trade. So I do think that the Wizards won overall, but that more so has to do with the conference in which they are in, more so than like the actual talent on the rest of the team, because the Rockets have Boogie now. They got Boogie Cousins. Yeah,
too. They got another guy that tore his knee, man. Like they get all these injured guys, man. They're these injured dudes.
That name brand.
Yeah, they got John Wall, the Boogie Cousins, James Harden. They say that Robert Woods with Detroit, he's a pretty good player, but overall their roster, man, it's just so injured. And Boogie, I think his career is over. Over for a bit.
You think so?
Yeah, dude, he's irrelevant, man. I forgot Boogie was on the Lakers. I completely forgot about that. They cut him after he tore his knee. So I'm just thinking, you got multiple knee injuries for a big fella. He's irrelevant anymore. There's a reason he got a minimum contract. So his career's over.
Do you see the Rockets making the playoffs again next year?
It'll be tough, man. It'll be tough. I think they might be fighting 8-7 seed this year.
Yeah, I agree.
8-7 seed with the how high I'm on the Phoenix Suns, man. They're in. They're in. If you look at the West, man, Phoenix Suns.
We think they might swap positions with the Suns, maybe.
There's a possibility. They'll be fighting. They might be in the play-in tournament, man. That's what might happen.
I think Harden could take over in that play-in tournament, though. That's his type of thing.
Oh yeah, winning one game, James Harden. If he loses to like the Timberwolves or the Grizzlies, the Grizz, they'll be embarrassing.
John Morant's gonna drop 50 on him.
Oh, he better, man. He's got to drop 50 for for the Grizzlies to make the playoffs.
Hey, Triple J, they got to get him back. Hopefully, obviously, I know he's hurt, but with this new season, I don't know. I don't see the Rockets I don't know. I think this is just a stupid trade. I mean, they didn't even get any future benefit from it. It's not like John Wall is going to come back and be a god again. I mean, obviously, I hope he plays well, but so you think the Rockets are going full rebuild now, because that's a pretty quick turn for them for having gone for it the past couple of years.
Yeah, the problem is they got none of their picks, so they can't do anything in the next couple. You can't tank for draft picks. So they're going to try to be competitive. And I feel after 2-3 years, when John Wall's contract's up, Harden might be gone in 2 years, then they're going to go full rebuild. But it's going to be a long, long journey.
Oh my! And they had so much potential, man. They've had 3 stars to pair with Harden in the past five years or so, with Howard, CP3, and Russell Westbrook. None of them, man. Not one of them worked out. I don't know, man. They may start looking at moving Harden. They could move him if they want to.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Chicago, baby. We'll send you Zach LaVine. We'll give you first round picks. James Harden, man.
I'm hanging up the phone.
You're gonna have to give him a ton of future, either players or picks. And I mean, the Bulls do have some talent to move around. It's possible. I hope maybe Lauri Markkanen, and that's why they drafted Patrick Williams. It's possible.
I don't know. Get it done, man.
I don't think they will. There's no way. I mean, the Rockets are kind of at a dead end at this point. They're really just trying to figure out, probably in a 5 to 6 year timeline, where they want to be and what they have to do to get there.
Yeah, I still think with them having the asset in Harden, like they're gonna if they do flip them or flip him, it's gonna be for another star. So I don't necessarily think it's gonna be a rebuild. Now, if they are like not trying to piss him off and just want to get him to acquiesce to his needs, then I could see him them flipping him to wherever and then getting pennies on the dollar. Like, but they have the asset. So, and he's got 2 years left. Like,
yeah,
you're either gonna play or sit whatever. But I'm gonna find you. I'm not with Harden. He's a different case, man. Like, he's just so talented. I can't just flip him for a couple shooting
right
in the future first. So, that's just me.
We're gonna see what Harden's all about. I think this year. I think it's really gonna show how much he's actually able to carry that team in the West. Yeah. More so, because obviously we know he can put up 30 to 35 a game. Like, that's
how
just
old is he?
Harden. I mean, he's got to be at least around 30.
31.
He's 31.
So he's not necessarily young. Well,
yeah, he just turned 31 in August. Dang.
Yeah. So I guess the time's ticking with that. But switching gears to another topic. The LA teams, man, had a kind of a eventful offseason. The Clippers lost some key pieces, had a lot of, players going on the podcast talking about how they were being used. They will remain nameless, won't say their name. But as far as the Lakers, they had their two biggest stars re-signed with LeBron signed a 2-year, somewhere around $80 million, and AD getting the full max. And, they added a couple good pieces with Marc Gasol and all that stuff. So I wanted to ask the guys, which team had the better offseason? And, in terms of which team puts them in the position to be, I guess, the best in the West? And so I'm going to start with you.
Man. LeBron is going for 6 titles. That's what he's trying to do right now. The Lakers retooled. They're obviously the projected favored winners. Like, me, I got LeBron winning the title next year. Easy. I've always said, if you give LeBron James a Hall of Famer, he will win titles, man. Titles. And if he give him an AD in his prime, this guy's 27 years old. He's in his prime, dropping 27 and 10, man. Averaging 30 points in the playoffs. Like, are you kidding me? You give LeBron that weapon, you're going to get it. I don't give a damn about Rondo or Dwight Howard, Danny Green. Who cares? Those guys are irrelevant. They retool. Like, Marc Gasol, that guy going to barely play. That was a relevant signing, but he's a nice veteran guy off the bench. Yeah, Marc Gasol is washed, man. He's washed. He's old. He's slow.
He can maybe spread the floor, which is what they want.
Nah, do you know why they got him? To play Nikola Jokic. Nope, to defend Nikola Jokic.
Exactly, because he can guard the perimeter.
No. To be a big body to throw at that, man. Because nobody wants to. AD wants no part of Nikola.
Dwight played Jokic relatively well.
Yeah, but Dwight
cheaper too.
Yeah, I'm surprised Dwight didn't resign, but yeah, Marc Gasol. They stole Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers, man. My 2 for 19, man. That is cheap. You got a guy that's great off. I'm assuming they're going to use him as a 6-man role off the bench, be that spark plug for the team, especially that roster. Their bench scoring was lacking. And now you got Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell. Come on, man. 20 points off the bench for each of those guys, man. That roster. Wes Matthews for the veterans minimum. Maybe? Yeah, 3-and-D, plays great defense. Like Wes Matthews getting $3 million, perfect pricing, right? This is a perfect offseason. Yeah. LeBron re-signs, gets his $85 million. AD gets his $190. Pretty sad. He took the full 5-year max, man. No more Chicago Bulls in the next 5 years. No. That's depressing. But the Lakers are loaded. The Lakers are going for a 3-peat, man. They're gonna go for this year. They're gonna go for next year, and they will be favored every year if LeBron and AD stays up.
Yeah. Well, I think the Lakers really hedged too by, they knew that LeBron was going to kind of do a similar signing as to what he did in Cleveland a couple of years ago with that 2-year short deal. Now, if LeBron gets 2 more championships in these next 2 years, he'll be at what, 6 now, Zoo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll be at that 6, a little less than 50% winning percentage there. So,
oh, well, stop, man! You ain't penalizing him for going to the finals. It is more impressive to make the final.
I'm not penalizing him. I'm just saying that's a fact. Okay, so there you go. That I'm not inferring anything, Andy. I'm just telling you what it is. Even if he were to win 2 more, okay. Now,
do you know what losing the finals mean? Silver medal, man. It's a silver medal. I ain't penalizing LeBron for getting silver medal.
Does he actually get anything?
No, but he came in second.
Oh, that's Allen Iverson. Tell it to Allen Iverson and see what he thinks.
Dude, that was an accomplishment, man. That was an accomplishment that got him, legitimized him in the Hall of Fame, man. People still talk about that series.
Andy, look at he only because he had one pop-off game and then he got swept right after that. But look, he will not be in any conversation with guys that won championships because he goes, I haven't had that. He goes, so I'm the quiet one of the group. So when you lose in a championship series, it's totally different. It's not a silver medal. They don't care. You still get the bite of losing, but that's beyond the point. Even if LeBron was to leave after 2 years, let's say he leaves, they locked in AD to build for their future. And if LeBron were to leave after 2 years and AD's got 3 left, they would have the money to pay another star to come in. Heck, they could even bring Harden in to go play with Anthony Davis in LA in 2 years when his contract's up in Houston. It's very possible. I don't see LeBron necessarily leaving after 2 years, but the Lakers are hedging their bet that if it does happen, we still have
LeBron ain't leaving, man. He's signed until 2022, 2023.
Yeah, but still.
He ain't. Yeah. LeBron's locked in. He ain't ever leaving LA. He got media empires down there, man. He winning titles. He controls them. He got Rich Paul. Getting him all. Dude.
Rich Paul, man.
Dude, Rich Paul, Montrezl Harrell, come to the Lakers. He's using Rich Paul as an agent to load up his own team. He's finessing the league right now. Man, he got KCP back. Man, they loaded, man. They loaded.
Is going to have arguably the best year in 2020 than anyone else in the world. 2020 is actually Rich Paul's best year, probably, when it comes to commission on those deals that he just maneuvered right there.
Yeah, man.
That man is the best agent in sports. It's ridiculous. But look, I think that the biggest signing, though, for the Lakers, obviously the re-signings, but I think everyone saw those coming. Maybe the only surprise being that AD got a max instead of a 2 or 3 year deal. But I got to shout out the Dennis Schroeder signing because I think that is the most pivotal for them. They had Rondo come in, give them solid minutes defensively last year. Schroeder's kind of a similar player, but can give you 19 a game. He can actually score the ball. And now that gives them more legitimate, like you said, bench scoring, Zoo. And I think that was something they were really lacking. They were lacking a little bit of height there, so bringing in Marc Gasol was good. But I really like Montrezl Harrell for their transition game. They love to run up and down the floor, and that is his strong suit. The guy doesn't really have that great of a jump shot. But man, can he run the floor and finish around the rim? And that's literally all LeBron needs is that lob game. And Montrezl Harrell fits them perfectly. So this Lakers team is going to be tough, man. I think the Clippers definitely had the worst of the 2 off seasons. I think by far, a lot of toxicity in that locker room.
It's been a disaster with all the leaking from the Clippers locker room to the Clippers toxicity to blaming the head coach and Doc Rivers, which is understandable because I think that dude's overrated. But absolutely, man, you need some accountability. Paul George, you need some accountability. Kawhi Leonard, the man that doesn't speak. Like I said, man, I don't want a guy that doesn't speak as my best player. I'm sorry, that guy needs to talk and man up and make adjustments in the playoffs, man. Come on, man. I'm so sick of PG-13, man. He blaming the coach when that guy's shooting off the backboard, man. Yep. That dude played for a head coach. But I'm surprised Doc Rivers coached Paul George after what happened, man. You know what happened? Paul George cheated.
Yeah.
Rivers' daughter. Yep. Got a stripper pregnant. Yep. And now he wiped up the stripper. I am surprised that Doc Rivers was coaching that man still and giving him motivation. But you're great, Paul George. You just gotta get it back into the zone, hit your jump shot, man. If I was Doc Rivers, screw Paul George. Screw him.
Dude, and I don't understand because they want Ty Lue to come in and solve everything.
Yeah.
And that's just laughable. I mean, we've said this multiple times on the podcast. At what point did Ty Lue become such a noteworthy coach? Someone who sought after. Andy, you may have shouted out the only coaching moment that I will ever give him credit for, and it saved him a championship, and that was calling David Blatt back in 2017, Zoo? Was that 17?
It was like a 2016 playoffs.
2016 maybe? Yeah,
At the
2015 or 16.
He calls a timeout, no timeouts. Ty Lue grabs him to sit down.
Yep.
Amazing move. That's $1 million move. That's $1 million move right there.
And that's the only reason he's still getting, or now becoming a head coaching, position that people want. They want him there versus just being an assistant. And it's funny how that man, he's supposed to come in and fix all these Clippers problems. Kawhi Leonard and PG getting all this treatment. Kawhi supposedly able to live and commute out of San Diego, which makes him late for all the team flights.
That's far, man. That's far from LA.
But look, do you think LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all these guys get preferential treatment? The Clippers are just so there's so much animosity between all of them that they're willing.
George does not deserve special treatment. That man has done nothing. Nothing. In the playoffs, he's done nothing. In the playoffs,
the only thing that they were giving Paul George a lot of treatment for was his call on playing time was a big one, and then having his own personal security and trainer, which only him and Kawhi have. So that was a big thing, especially with the COVID protocol and all that. But the trainer also, I don't know, it's really petty in my opinion because look, the guys that are going to carry your team, they're going to get preferential treatment. That's just how the world works. Let's be honest. They're the best assets. They're going to try and keep them.
But the problem is PG-13 in the playoff is way off P, man. That's the problem, man. If he shows up in the playoffs, you deserve. If you get special treatment, you better show up when the playoffs start, man. That's where stars shine. The problem with PG-13, he regresses, man. He regresses.
It was a weird year, though. Like, I know there's no...
I told you about the bubble inflation was going to happen, man. No crowd noise, and people shot better. You heard Dame Dollar? He said, like, man, the bubble was easy, man. No crowd noise, like shooting at an open gym, but not for way off Pete. He couldn't do anything, man.
You also don't get the benefit of the home court, though, which is at the same time. So it's really...
It was a shooter's gym, man. You see Jamal Murray dropping 50s, man. You see Donovan dropping 50s. Dame Dollar dropping 60. And you see way off P just being scrubby P, man. Come on, man.
It was a rough year for him. I can't give him that much credit. But look, I mean, that's just the fact of what it was. I think it's a little petty for the Clippers players to be making it public. I don't know what they thought was going to be, what was going to happen by making it public. I mean, they got the coaching change, right? Like, is that like what else do you want? I don't understand it.
They want nice excuses, and then be like, "Yeah, It was Doc not making adjustments at halftime. It was Doc putting me in the wrong situations." They wanted to blame him even more
to get
off blame, man. But I don't know, man. I saw them play. Lou Will played like trash. Montrez played like trash. Kawhi, like everyone played bad. Legit, the entire roster played bad.
Poor chemistry.
Embarrassing.
And that's Doc Rivers' fault.
True that.
Real quick, I was talking with Zoo earlier, like pre-production, and I was telling them about how like they had Shea, they had Danilo, and Kawhi was trying to come to the team. I'm gonna ask you guys this really quick: if you're Clippers management, and Kawhi obviously struck out on like Kyrie and I think Butler and a couple other guys before he went to Paul, do you just somehow like if Kawhi says, "Look, I'm not coming here and I'm signing with the Lakers unless you bring Paul George," do you just say, "Yeah, go ahead," or do you say, "Okay, just bring in Paul George"? Because I'm to the point where I say, "Okay, go ahead and go to the Lakers."
Stop! Are you serious? Yeah. Sean, you did not just say that, Sean. What are you talking about, man? Man, I do not like pandemic P, but if Kawhi Leonard went to AD and LeBron, that would have been Golden State Part 2, man.
I think he would have won. I don't think he would have won. It's a bluff. I don't think he would have won. It's a bluff.
Yes, he would have.
I don't think Kawhi would have.
Kawhi Leonard could have got a max with the Lakers. They would have won titles. He would have went to the Clippers by
There's
himself.
Kawhi Leonard, though. Kawhi had already run into if he didn't win in Toronto and then came, I could maybe see it. But he won by himself. I don't think, like, if it would have been maybe Paul George that did that, maybe. Or you'll be like, yeah. But Kawhi, I feel like his mindset is not. I think that was a bluff to get him because he wanted the power to get Paul George. I think if Kawhi does it over again, he would have said I bet you if you ask him again, he's like, no, I'm keeping Shea and I'm keeping Danilo. I guarantee it. I think he made a mistake. I don't think he really because he was like Paul George was like the fourth guy on his list. He didn't want Paul George at first. He was trying to get Kyrie and Butler.
And KD.
Yeah, and they all said no.
But at the end of the day, you have to remember that they're fighting for Los Angeles revenue. You know, they're fighting against the Clippers. I mean, that's arguably their quote unquote arch rival. Yeah. They're trying to get ticket sales. I mean, they for a couple of years there when it was CP3 and Blake and Kobe was kind of on the downfall, the Clippers were out earning the Lakers. Yeah, let's be honest. They were attracting bigger crowds. They were attracting more merchandise revenue. Well, maybe not merchandise revenue, but you know what I mean? Just popularity in general, highlights, better team. And that's what they're going to continue to always fight for. So they needed to bring some exciting thing in when they lost Blake Griffin, when CP3 was gone. And if it meant taking on Paul George to get Kawhi, they were going to do it because they were thinking, hey, I mean, Paul George is going to at least give us 20 a game. Obviously, he struggled. They didn't mesh well. Now, another year and different coaching, it could be a totally different story. Now, granted, they lost out on Montrez, which was huge. They did sign Serge, who's getting a little old. But the Lakers definitely made the better moves, right, to make their team better, whereas the Clippers kind of just stayed the same overall. They just have a new hopefully a new philosophy with the team is kind of what they're betting on. And they're saying, hey, if our team can mesh better than yours, we like our chances. And that's the bet that the Clippers were willing to take. I don't blame them for it. They need the revenue. So at the end of the day, it's unfortunately about the money, and that was the best way for them to earn money.
I think, too, it might get a little bit better if they move to I think they're getting a new arena. So that might help.
Should go to Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, would you move LA?
Ballmer just bought a new stadium, so they stick in Cali, man.
True.
They're still in Cali.
If they wanted to really separate themselves, though, they'd have to go to Seattle, because that's probably the biggest market that's untapped for the NBA.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the biggest that I can think of off the top of my head. But going to the final topic of the night, done with the Ball brothers. LaMelo, he's with the Hornets. Lonzo's still with the Pelicans, and surprisingly, LiAngelo, they call him Jello, got a non-guaranteed contract. I think he basically contracted to see, come and prove himself. But nevertheless, 3 brothers in the NBA potentially could be on opening day roster. At least 2 of them will. We'll see about the 3rd one. But just want to get the guys' thoughts on, I guess LeVar Ball and his branding and antics and all that stuff. It's obviously worked because he's got all three sons the ability to get into the league. So I'm going to end the night with P-Bush and get his thoughts on that.
This is very impressive, man. I mean, you want to talk about manifestation? That's LeVar Ball, man. About 5 years ago, he's like, all 3 of my boys are going to make the NBA. They're all going to be in the league at the same time. And then he even said that 2 of them would get to the NBA without using the NCAA system. And they did that. LiAngelo never played. LaMelo Ball playing overseas, and they still somehow get to the NBA. LiAngelo's obviously got to kind of play his way into the league. Otherwise, he might drop down to the G League a bit. I really hope for his sake and for their family and brand's sake that he does end up making the Pistons roster and, getting minutes here and there. Hell, even if he's the 12th man on the bench, I'm sure he'll take it, as will LeVar. But look, I got to give shout-outs to LeVar, man. He predicted it all. 2 of his boys in the top 5. I think there's only a handful of families that may have had 3 brothers in at the same time. Maybe the Barrys.
All the other ones are the Holidays.
And the Barrys, Brent Barry, John Barry. Yeah, those guys, I think, at the same time. But none of them were lottery picks. I'm pretty sure none of them were lottery picks. And, I mean, this is impressive, man. I don't think we've seen this before. I think, obviously, Jello, he kind of fell off as the middle brother. He kind of got lost in the shuffle a bit. But, look, he found his way back. He got out of China. He came over that
That dude
shoplifting.
is an idiot, man. He tried to go to a Gucci Louis Vuitton store and steal from a store in China. What a joke, man.
China didn't block his entry into the NBA, but hey, that's a different story.
LiAngelo Ball.
It's good for them, man. I can't hate. Obviously, I think we know LaMelo. We haven't seen him really play in the NBA yet. Obviously, we will in a couple weeks, but I really hope he ends up becoming the best of the three. Lonzo's kind of, he's still up in the air a bit, not a certain bust or, a stronghold on a team quite yet, but he still plays really well. So I think it's really just going to come down to LiAngelo and how long he can stay in the league, but I hope it's for a couple of years because that'd be some fun matchups.
Yeah, this is incredible, man. When I saw that tweet by Shams Charania, LiAngelo Ball got signed to a non-guaranteed contract to the Detroit Pistons, my first thought was, what the hell are the Pistons doing, man? They had the dumbest offseason I've ever seen. First, they give Mason Plumlee a nice 3-year contract, $24 million. Then they give Jerry and Grant $60 million for a guy that doesn't know how to play offense. Are you kidding me? They get these bigs, man. This ain't, man, what are they doing? And now you give LiAngelo, I don't know if it's marketing or whatever, because I think it's straight up marketing. Guess we got a ball, brother. I'm like, man, Detroit's front office should be arrested for stupidity, man. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But shout out to LeVar Ball. That guy predicted all three boys in the NBA. You guys may not know, but when LeVar Ball was on draft night for LaMelo Ball, he wore a hat saying, "I told you so." That his youngest was going to get into the NBA, man. People laughed at him. Big media networks are like, this is never going to happen. LaMelo's not that good. His boy's a top 3 pick, and he got paid, man. Getting paid a lot of money to play basketball. So, man, he hit a grand slam, man. He hit a grand slam. I can't believe LiAngelo Ball even got a tryout, man.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This is legit. This is a tryout contract, man. He's on the same contract as Taco Fall for the Celtics.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So technically, he's had an opportunity to be an NBA player, man. This is not G League. This is the NBA contract, man. Might not be guaranteed, but it's still an NBA contract.
Yeah, it is. It's impressive.
Man.
Yeah, I think LiAngelo, I mean, I've watched like a couple of, I think when they had the JVA, I think that's what it was. When he was in there, he can shoot. He doesn't have the ball handling of his brothers. But I think if he gets in the right situation, and I don't know the team.
Not Detroit. Not Detroit.
Yeah, they don't have. I don't even know who their point guard is. I think they got a rookie, don't they? I think Killian Hayes.
Killian Hayes.
Yeah, he turns into a stud or whatever. Maybe he can get him some open jumpers. He has a chance to stick because with this league now, if you have any semblance of a shot, and I think he's 6'6" or 6'5".
Nah, he's 6'4", 6'5".
He's 6'5", 230.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess he's got decent enough height. He might have a chance. Who knows? He might be one of those because a lot of. And I'm not saying. I'm gonna go ahead and preface this. I'm not saying he's this player, but when Seth Curry came out, nobody was looking at him hey, whatever. But he's a real I don't know if he's a starter, but he's definitely in a rotation and he can shoot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's what?
Hope he becomes a rotational player.
Yeah, so I mean, Jello could. I guess you could say that's his ceiling. It's his ceiling could be a rotational player.
Yeah,
in the NBA. And I guess if he's good enough, he could be.
He ain't Seth Curry, man.
I knew
he ain't even close, man. Seth Curry is one of the greatest shooters of all time, man. That jump shot is so pretty, man. He also has high IQ, man. Come from a basketball family.
Andy, he doesn't mean playing style. He means what the role is on the team. He's a rotational player.
Curry is going to be a rotational player on a championship contender. When he was on Dallas, he was a key player for Luka to kick out to, for a guy that made big shots in the playoffs, man. This dude shot 40% from the three-point line. 40%, man. This guy's a career 44% from three.
Yeah.
44%. That is historically great, man. Man, LiAngelo can't shoot. Man, down a shooting count to a Seth Curry, man, get blown out, man. Are you kidding me? LiAngelo Ball.
At least LiAngelo can dunk the ball.
I don't even know that, man. He's got the worst hops out of his brothers, man. He looks the most unathletic out of his brothers, man, because he's more of a bigger fella, man. He got the lean.
He looks more like LeVar, like body-wise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, his body is straight up.
Yeah, he's like LeVar.
Straight up LeVar Ball genetics, man.
Yeah, he's definitely the most physical of the three. Which
he probably should have played football. He probably should have played football. Could have been like a tight end. I mean, football is a different type of mindset. Didn't he play football?
LeVar played?
Yeah.
Or he was on the practice squad. You call that play.
Yeah, that's good money. That's really good money. But yeah, shout out to LeVar Ball, man. He, a lot of people disagree with his antics, but he obviously knew what he was doing. I think with Lonzo, he kind of learned a little bit of like what not to do, and it kind of helped him with LaMelo. So shout out to him for getting all three of his sons, and hopefully they can get to a position where they're all three on rosters and doing it big. But that is, the end of the podcast. Like I said, we was on a hiatus last week because of Thanksgiving, but we're going to start getting these episodes out every week. And make sure you guys subscribe to all of our pages, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, and Bullheaded Pod. Make sure you go on the Twitter. Bullheaded_pod is on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, for Zoo and P. Bush, we out.